What's up, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Haven't done one of these in a while. We're going to kick it off real nice and proper. One. What's up, guys, and welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. And wow, got my headphones up way too loud. Couldn't hear. All I heard was myself come back in my ears about 3 seconds behind. What's up, y'all? It's Sunday. It's been a great morning here. The baby actually slept well last night, so that was dope. Actually got to sleep a little bit. Woke up and got to watch the fights from from last night. Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Mike Perry, and the Korean Zombie versus I think his last name was Rodriguez. A bunch of great fights. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I also got some good sleep and woke up on a Sunday morning after a fighting Irish fucking win. Whew! What a weekend, right? 2 days of rest. I had a pretty good training session. I had good training sessions all week, except I got hurt. On Monday, we were doing trips. I tripped the guy. He ragdolled. When you ragdoll as a sparring partner, you completely fuck your partner. So I went to trip him, and he ragdolled. So I noticed that he just went completely limp. So I grabbed his head and pulled it into my head and kind of flipped him over so that way he didn't fall on his head. I took the blunt of the fall with my shoulder, and at first I thought I popped my shoulder out, and I was like, fuck, you know? I've hurt my shoulder before in the past from being a quarterback in football and a pitcher in baseball. I've always, and I'm left-handed, I've just always messed with my shoulders. So I was like, oh shit, you know, I dislocated my shoulder, which I've done in wrestling before. And I got up and I started moving my arm. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm good. I think everything's good. I can still move it. It doesn't look disformed. I think I'm good. I finished rolling. I had a great day on Monday. By Wednesday, I was really hurting. I couldn't do much in practice just because it felt like a pain in my chest almost. I felt like I had strained something in my pec. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to roll hard. The last 10 minutes of each class, we roll hard. And I was like, well, I won't do that this time. I sat out. Thursday, I had boxing. Everything felt great. Everything was going good. I went to sleep Friday, or Thursday night, waking up Friday, and I've been sleeping on the couch because the baby just sleeps better out in the living room. I woke up and I couldn't sit up, and I was like, fuck. I thought I was starting to get better. Friday was really bad, so I didn't go to jiu-jitsu on Friday, but I stayed home that morning and just tried to rest, iced it a little bit, tried to drink some water, some fish oil. I went cryo. I went and did cryo on Friday and Saturday just to try to heal it. It feels pretty good today. I've got jiu-jitsu tomorrow, so hopefully it's going to be good. But I figured out that what I thought was in my chest, for those on YouTube can see it, I'm pointing to like my lower pectoral, where I thought it was there. I think what actually happened is when I flipped over, I bruised something in one of my ribs, or bruised something in my lat. Because when the pain's really dull, like it is now, where I can still feel it when I make certain movements, I feel it more in my lat and like my rib area. So other than that, I had a great week of training. I think my training on Thursday with my kickboxing coach, Jen, went phenomenal. I was very happy even with the video that got put up. I was stoked to see that. And then Saturday comes around, and we win one for the Gipper. Last night, Notre Dame takes it home against Florida State. Just kicked the shit out of them. Even with Ian Book being out, we were with Brandon Wimbush. And he's Brandon Wimbush. He played a good game, but he made a lot of mistakes to where it could have been a bigger beating. He threw a couple interceptions and just not good. Let's see what we got. I can keep going on sports, so that way if you guys like the sports, you can enjoy the first couple, you'll know to expect sports for the first 10-15 minutes. We're already 5 minutes in. And then if sports isn't really your thing, you can skip forward and skip through it. So I'll stay with it. So the first fight of the card last night, that again I watched this morning. I woke up this morning to a Notre Dame win and UFC I get to watch. Gunther versus Ramos. Oh, okay. So Gunther versus Ramos was this redneck looking white dude with a mullet and just this nasty mustache. And Ramos was a very skilled, very talented jiu-jitsu fighter. And Gunther was, again, they called him a freestyle fighter, which means he doesn't really specialize in one art. He doesn't, you know, most guys specialize in like kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, striking and jiu-jitsu, kind of, you know, ground game. You know, and the opposites of that could be like Muay Thai for striking and wrestling for being on the ground. So usually people have multiple specialties. When they're a freestyle fighter, that means that they don't really have a specialty. That's what it seems like to me. So he walked in. Gunther, I think, definitely had the heart to win the fight. He just, sometimes heart can outweigh skill. Not this time. Not in MMA. Heart may be the difference between two very skilled guys and who wins, but heart most of the time will not outbeat skill and technical ability. So that one was a good fight. Obviously, Gunther lost that one. Ramos won. Shocker. Skelly versus Moffitt. That was a big one. It was two guys, obviously, two people in the ring. Skelly and Moffitt. It was a good fight. They were banging kind of the whole time. That it seemed to be a very equal match until the very last last seconds of the fight. Again, fucking duh, or else it wouldn't have been the end. The last few minutes of the fight, it was Moffitt started to really gain an advantage. He's got Skelly on the ground, and he kind of kept going for different chokes and different submissions, and he couldn't quite get it. Well, then he got a really good rear naked choke, and the ref comes in and he picked his arm up. He picked Skelly's arm up, and it just completely flopped. So he's behind Skelly. The ref is behind Skelly, picks his arm up, it flops. Ref calls the fight, says that Skelly was out, said he was asleep. As soon as Moffitt gets off of him, he's talking to the ref, because the ref and him are face to face now. He's going, "Why did you stop the fight? I wasn't out. I wasn't out." And the ref, so the interesting thing was, I don't know for sure, but I never saw that ref again after that fight. Before that, him and this other guy were switching out. After that, they didn't switch out anymore. So I don't know if they sent him home. I don't know if he's like under investigation or something. But that was not a good call. He made some shitty calls in other fights too. He was not a very good ref, I didn't think. But that changed that fight. If you guys want to see what I'm talking about, Skelly versus Moffitt UFC. I don't know what number it is. I thought this was UFC 232 or 231 maybe. I don't know. But apparently it was not. Hold on, give me 1 second. We gotta take a break here. Reset the YouTube video. All right. Pena versus Trezano was a good one. I think Pena he had the reach advantage. He was 6'3". Trezano was only 5'11". I think Trezano was a more well put together fighter. I think Trezano won. I think he all around technically sound, mentally he was locked in. I think this Pena guy, and he calls himself the Violent Bob Ross. He's a light-skinned black dude with orange reddish hair. Naturally, you can tell it's natural. And he was just very dramatic, very eccentric in the things he was doing. I didn't care much for him from the beginning. And then you watch the fight go on. He's trying to do all these really fancy things, and instead of, you're fighting a technically sound fighter, trying to be cute and trying to be fancy and stuff, not the time to do that. Well, he figured it out. And again, I want to say this, Pena was tough as shit. He was coming up against a very, very tough Trezano, and he hung in there. I don't remember how that fight. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh, mother balls! I just tried to open the wrong thing. So now I'm gonna be halfway through typing on this, and it'll switch over to Mozilla Firefox. Who uses Firefox? Trezano UFC. I know you guys won't be able to hear it, But I want to see. Happy to prove he was tough 27 champ. Really? They're not going to show it? They're not going to have the reactions to Quickness, the submissions, Luis Pena. Huh. Interesting. I just finished watching it out in the living room. I thought for sure they would have. Anyway, I don't remember how the fight ended, but like I said, Trizano won. So that was pretty dope. And then obviously Cowboy Cerrone, Mike Perry. That was dope as hell. My boy Cowboy Cerrone, he, I'm going to pull that one back up and talk through it while I'm watching it again because I want to see that end. It was pretty awesome. So this is only 2 minutes. You guys won't be able to hear it, but let's see. So right now, Mike Perry's on Cerrone, or I'm sorry, Cerrone's on Mike Perry's back. Locks the arm in. Mike Perry is in Donald Cowboy Cerrone's guard. He's going for the triangle, so he's trying to pull his arm on top of his head. So stretch his arm over his head. Essentially try to get his armpit as close to his chin as he can and then pull up. Mike Perry, here in just a second, is getting a good base. Picks Cerrone up while he's still got his arm. Slams Cerrone on his head. Cerrone never lets go of the arm. Arm bar. Mike Perry tapped. After all that shit he talked. Because there was all kinds of drama around Donald Cerrone and Mike Perry. Because, and I love this too, fucking Cowboy Cerrone has a fan for life. As soon as he won, he goes, "Bring me my baby. Bring me my baby." He just had he has a 4-month-old son, and he wanted his son with him. That's dope as shit. That's some Conor McGregor shit right there. I love it. I fucking love that. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. Cowboy Cerrone did. Oh, the drama between Cerrone and Mike Perry was Cerrone used to train at this gym, and I think it was in Colorado. I'm pretty sure it was. And I'll never remember the name of the guy. Winklejohn's gym in UFC. So Donald Cerrone used to train there, and he had gone through multiple camps with Winklejohn's in that. There's another guy's name, but I'm not going to remember it. Through their gym, so they were family. You know, they were boys. Mike Perry, I think it was after they found out Cerrone and Perry were going to fight each other, Perry shows up to Winklejohn's gym, and they take him. Well, that'll never happen. You can never have two fighters that are going to fight each other in the same camp. It doesn't work that way. So Donald Cerrone was like, "Hey, man, you guys have been my family. We've been boys for years. You got to tell this dude he can't train here." And they were like, "No, we think we're going to go with Mike Perry." So Cerrone was like, "Fuck, cool. All right, dope." He built a home gym and then had his own camp. He brought his own people out. Now, there's some people that are saying that Cerrone had been gone from Winklejohn's gym for years. He was out doing all kinds of other shit. But still, I mean, loyalty is loyalty. I don't agree with that one. So I enjoyed the fact that the karma won out on that side as far as loyalty goes and being good to the people that are around you. So there you go. 13 minutes on sports, and I wrapped up football. I also wrapped up the UFC. 13 minutes. I don't think that's that bad. Let's see. When you know you're at war with fucking life, shit just keeps happening. Well, that's because it was one of those weeks for me. I felt like no matter how much I battled, and sometimes no matter how good of a day I had, one of the benefits of kind of this new mindset that I have is, yes, bad shit is going to happen. It's probably going to happen often, sometimes like this week. You just learn that when bad shit happens, you just don't carry it with you. Okay, it happened. Either there's nothing I can do about it, or there is something I can do about it. Let me do that something, and then I can't. Then now I have nothing else I can do about it, so there's no reason to worry. That's kind of how I treat everything. So my week started off crazy. While I was at work, my ex-wife called my son's mother. I have a 9-year-old son. For a lot of you that don't know, I think I've told this story on past podcasts. I have a 9-year-old son. I say quote unquote because 17 years old, this girl said she was pregnant, said it was mine. He was born in June of like 2010. And then I found out she was messaging some guy saying, "Oh man, isn't it crazy that this baby is probably yours?" Went for a paternity test. The guy and his dad had to pay for the paternity test, and they got the results and they skipped town. So I didn't know anything to do. Not to mention, remember guys, I'm 17 at the time. A year later, me and his mother break up, and she takes off to Germany with some guy. He was in the army. So, and then I didn't see him again. And I got a call like 7 years later. They were asking me to sign over my rights to this kid. So I did. And I did. Anyway, so that's the story about my son. And again, I call him that, but we don't really know. My ex-wife, Taya's mother, my 2-year-old daughter, called my son's mom and said, "Hey, I'm going to subpoena you to court so that way you can tell your story to the judge about what a piece of shit dad Cam is." And that just, obviously there's not a judge in the world that would use that. I was 17, 2 has nothing to do with this case. Because for those of you that listen to the podcast but don't follow the Instagram, I'm going back to court January 11th to fight for better visitation of my daughter Taya. And yeah. So that's why she did that. She's trying to gain loyalty from different people in my life. She went after my mother, tried to get my mother to badmouth me because I put up a GoFundMe. If I'm going to win this visitation hearing this time, I have to get a lawyer. I contacted a very good lawyer who's confident that he can get me the outcome I want, which is every other weekend with my daughter. And my ex has to meet me halfway instead of me driving so far because it's 4.5 hours one way. I say that all the time. Yeah, and he's confident he can do that, but there's a $2,500 lawyer retainer. And so I put up a GoFundMe, and you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. If you guys have donated, it means the world to me. If not, and you would like to, go to @CamWilliamsonOfficial on Instagram, and it's the link in the bio. And anything helps, but my ex-wife was pissed about that. So she went to my mother and was like, "Do you really approve of this, of him trying to do this?" And my ex-wife likes to say that I'm putting on a persona online instead of, I try to beef up what I actually do with my daughter for my own benefit or whatever. Anyway, so it was that. And it was that for a few days, and then I, would catch backlash from different people. I almost weekly I get something from my ex-wife, the mother of my 2-year-old, saying, "Well, this is why I let her call my boyfriend dad because you're a piece of shit," and all this. It was just one of those weeks. It just kept coming and kept coming, and I kind of broke down. I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday night. I kind of broke down to my wife. And I said, "I'm just tired of people fucking with me. It's been years and years and years, and every time someone has a bad day, they, for some reason, like to try to take it out on me, and I don't know why." And yeah, I kind of played the victim mentality, which is not the mentality that I like to take, but sometimes I'm a human being. When life punches you in the mouth, sometimes you kind of feel like a victim. So I kind of came undone, and I was crying and screaming, and I'm like, I just want to be left alone. Every time I think I'm making significant strides in my life, something else happens, and somebody else comes around, and they have to just completely try to tear me down. And I dropped my phone. They got to completely try to tear me down for something that I did in my past. Or something I didn't even do, but you're holding me to the standard of my past. Like, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, my ex-wife constantly is, you alcoholic. And it's like, okay, I've been 2 years sober. How long are we going to do this? Well, you're a piece of shit, Dad, because you're an alcoholic. It's like, 2 years sober. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm somebody who used to have an alcohol dependency with drinking. Yeah. So you're saying I can't be a good father? Almost 3 years later? Like, so that's why I put that post on Instagram that was like, if you have people that are holding resentment against you because of something in your past, that's their fucking problem. You have every right to grow and to mature and advance. Don't let shitty people from your past come back and try to drag you back to that place. Because something I realized is the only way that my ex can sleep at night is because she has to lay there and make me out to be that in her head. Because if she's laying at night and she's doing all the things that she's doing, but then she's going, but he's actually changed, and he's actually trying, and he's actually a good dad, that then would cause her to have to face the responsibility that she played in everything. She'll never do that. We all will have people that in our lives like that. They will always hold you to the standard that benefits them the most. So if you in the 7th grade was either the best or the worst you've ever been, they will hold you to that standard because then they can tell whatever story is going to help benefit their own reality. Usually it's negative. I'm talking mainly about negative thoughts. If you were an immature kid in high school, there are people who will always treat you as if you are that. Even if you're 27 or 35. The person you were at 18, for them, will define you. Guess what? That's their problem. For whatever reason, they need you locked in their psyche at that point in your life. You just have to be able to recognize that. You have to be able to recognize how people are using you, even if it's how are they using you in their own mentality. You don't have to be someone's mental punching bag in real life for anyone. So now I don't let it really get to me, but there are some times that, like, when it's back to back to back to back to back like that, it gets to me sometimes, and I just kind of come undone. So, and the other thing I wanted to kind of point out, and I don't like the way that I wrote it, but I hope you guys will get the point, at least. What I wrote is, you can't be mad at people who have a gangster mindset. Especially because, for me, I'm a big fan of the gangster mindset. Most of the people that I associate with have what I call the gangster mindset. If you guys have ever watched any of the, oh Lord have mercy, I'm going to forget the name of the movie. The Godfather, Scarface, the one with De Niro that I cannot remember. I know, no, De Niro was not in The Godfather. There's one with De Niro, and I can't think of the fucking name of the movie. But that kind of gangster. I'm not talking about fucking rappers and shit. These gangster mentalities are... So usually, the boss is not going to do much, right? The boss makes the call. And that call is to usually do something bad to someone else. Or it's to make a move that he can't be seen making. It's manipulation, it's coercion, it's, whatever. It's deceitful. Now, I respect that in some people. That's some people's hustle. Hey, I'm going to do what I have to do to get to where I want to be. I respect it. But you have to understand that taking a gangster's mindset into a relationship or into something important as how you're going to co-parent your child, not a good thing. Because the reality that you've made up in your head, that I'm this, that I'm that, that I'm a bad father, whatever, you've made that reality up, you're still willing to do some gangster shit to me, even if you know it's lying, deceitful, dishonest, immoral. Even if you know that, you're still rocking that gangster mindset. So you're like, I'm going to do everything to burn you to the ground. I respect it. I respect it to a point. But you got to watch for people with gangster mindsets. If they're sitting back, appearing to be one thing, because they've got a minion or something, or this side thing, that's actually making a move. They usually got a side move that, while I'm over here, making this presence known, over here, I'm doing some shit on the slide and burn your fucking house down. So, watch for that. Watch for the fact that, for me, if you're a real one, you appreciate and you respect the gangster mentality, because I have it. I'm the type of person that if you're doing wrong to somebody I care about, I will literally burn your house down and torch the path that I took to get there to protect whoever's in my life. And that's obviously a metaphor, but I'm saying I will do anything and everything to protect those I love. And so I get it. but you just have to watch when it's being used against you. And those two life lessons, that I just talked about, they usually come simultaneously with one another. They usually become simultaneous. Somebody is usually trying to project your past on you while also turning around pulling the Houdini with a gangster mindset trying to fuck you over. Just gotta watch it. Gotta watch it. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Lighten it up. So the elections were this past Tuesday. I hope you guys all went out and voted. It's very, very important that you go out and vote, even if... Now, there was a big debate, and I liked it this year. And I had never really heard it before. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older and I listen to different shit. But I was listening. A lot of people come up and they were saying, look, which one is worse? Someone who doesn't vote or an uninformed voter? I said, ooh, hot question. I like that. I like that. We're looking at shit. We're dissecting shit now. I said, I like that. I would say an uninformed voter is probably worse. Only because you're putting your seal of approval on something you don't know. That's never good. That's not a practice anyone should put into place. But yeah, anyway, that came out. The state of Baltimore put recreational murder on their ballots by accident. I don't know if you guys heard about this. If you're listening to it on just the audio form, or if you have YouTube Red, you can close down the video form and you can Google Baltimore puts recreational murder on the ballot accidentally. It was issue 9 on the ballot. The state of Baltimore, or maybe it was just the city of Baltimore, Facebook page shared out issue 9, whatever. The voting of recreational murder was accidentally put on the ballot. Please vote no to this issue. And it was called like issue Z. Something really weird. But yeah, so that just shows me somewhere in a legislation somewhere, recreational murder was on the possibilities of things to vote on. Huh? Somebody had the idea, because if it was in the system to get put on the ballot, that means they considered the idea at some point. For recreational murder. And then they said, please vote no on this issue. What if they don't? What if they vote yes? You put it on an official ballot. That was supposed to lighten up the mood a little bit, but I think that one actually brought it down because of the scariness of it. But yeah, Google it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I fell into some puff piece story and maybe that, the city of Baltimore never did that and somebody edited the picture. I don't know. Anything on the internet's possible now. One thing that drives me nuts is people are trying to convince themselves that things are funny, nice, or that someone is talented when they aren't because it's politically correct. Yes. So there's this Netflix special that everyone's kind of up in arms about. I don't remember the girl's name. She's an openly lesbian woman. She's got kind of an Ellen DeGeneres vibe to her. She dresses more man-like. She's got and again, I've never believed in dressing a certain way makes that male, or I don't like that saying dressing like a man. You have the right to dress in whatever the fuck you want. But she was wearing skinny cargo jeans and a plaid button down, and her hair is cut very short. So yeah, like I said, she's kind of got an Ellen DeGeneres vibe to her. And they labeled this as stand-up comedy, and I can't think of the girl's name. It was Hannah Gigsby or Grigsby or something like that. It was weird. The name was different, but so this was under Netflix. It was under a stand-up comedy. So I was like, all right, well, I'll watch this. 1, 2, 3 jokes come in and they're all about how she looks like a man, and I'm like, alright. 4, 5, 6 jokes about how she looks like a man and how she's gay, how people don't accept that. 1, 2, 3, 4, still the gay and looking like a boy thing. And half the thing, I hadn't laughed once. And I hadn't heard the audience even laugh once. I'm like, okay. This is more of a TED talk on self-deprivational speak and how to combat it with humor. It wasn't funny. So a lot of people got up in arms about it. It was like, hey, this is kind of bullshit. You guys gave her this stand-up comedy special because she's a minority. She's a woman in the LGBTQ, whatever the fuck they are now, community. You guys gave her this special, and she didn't do comedy. That wasn't funny. And they come out and go, oh, well, it's up to each individual interpretation as to what's funny. And it's like, no, I don't think anybody found that funny. That wasn't funny. It almost seemed like she didn't even intend it to be funny. It was like she was giving a TED talk, but because of the self-depreciation that she was doing, it kind of made it that she was making jabs at herself. So, there was an element, I guess, of humor, but it definitely was not a fucking stand-up comedy routine. And we do that kind of shit. But there's people online that are going, this Hannah Gigsby is so talented and so funny. It's like, no, she's not. And if you'd really ask her, I don't think that's what she was going for. She might have, maybe she thought she was. But she's not funny. And she's not a great stand-up act. Maybe in a small niche group, maybe. But people feel it necessary because they support her in her lifestyle choices, which some would say is not a choice, but her being a gay woman, they want to support that cause so bad that they go totally left and go, well, I can't even say she wasn't funny. You can't be like, hey, it wasn't for me, but good for you for speaking out about what you believe in. Got nothing wrong with that. But, people automatically, if you're like, hey, that shit wasn't funny, they're like, oh, well, you're a misogynist and you're a whatever. That's a hate crime because you said it wasn't funny because she's a lesbian. It's like, I didn't say it because she's a lesbian. I think Ellen DeGeneres is hilarious. Very funny. That specific individual, regardless of her personal life, was not funny. I think it's kind of silly. And I see it a lot. I see it a lot in music. People are like, oh my gosh, she's such a good singer. It's like, is she? Is she such a good singer? Or is she an overweight singer, so it's cooler to say that her voice is beautiful? Now, I'm not talking about Adele. Adele could fucking sing. But you listen to Kelly Clarkson, and yeah, she's a good artist. She's alright. But people are like, oh my gosh, Kelly Clarkson. Do you like her? Is that why you're saying that? Because I'm cool with that. If you just like her and you want to support her, nothing against it. Or are you saying that because she's that body positive, strong, empowered woman that you like? Again, nothing wrong with it, but let's just call it what it is. She's not a great singer. Just my take on it. Just my take. What we got? Woman gives birth to 12-pound, 6-ounce baby. And the point of the, 12 pounds, 6 ounce baby, right? Is that what I said? 12 pounds, 6 ounces. And they were boasting about the fact that she did it with no pain meds. She's so strong, she did it without pain meds. Now, I've seen women give birth. I believe they should take all the pain meds. I got nothing against it at all. But they also, while Nicole was pregnant, I was reading in, and I'm a part of the Baby Center app and stuff like that, where you can track the of the pregnancy. And a lot of these things are, don't compare yourselves to other mothers. If you have to get pain medicine, that's okay. But if you chose not to get pain medicines and you did it naturally, don't talk badly about the women. You're no better, right? And then there are some women that go, I am better. I took care of my kid. You know, no meds. I didn't take any chances. And there's a whole community inside there by themselves fighting one another. So when we went into the hospital, we were like, hey, we're going to do what's best for everybody. They convinced me that, and my wife, that the epidural was not going to hurt my daughter, so we did that. My wife didn't do anything else besides that, that I know of. And then, after she gives birth, this story comes out, 12 pounds, 6 ounces, and they're highlighting the fact that she did it with no meds. And that's obviously an astonishing thing. I mean, that's birth itself is not easy. But then a 12 pound, 6 ounce. But where's the offense now? Where's people coming out, you know, saying, well, she's being an ableist because she was able to withstand that pain threshold, but it's not now. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's outraged. Why? Because what you're finding is it's these women empowerment, feminist movement that start a lot of this bullshit. Look at a lot of the issues that are out there. It's this feminist fucking bleh bullshit where they feel the need to pull down men, white men, straight white men, specifically. They have to do those three things. But if you turn around and used the exact same logic, which is ridiculous, and I don't believe in stooping to the level of your opponent, but if they can be so offended at some of the dumbest shit that is out there, like one of my favorite shows on YouTube is Hot Ones with Sean Evans, where the celebrities eat the spicy wings. It's one of my favorite fucking shows. I love it. This feminist group said that it's misogynistic to place a challenge about how many hot wings you can eat. So starting on a 1 scale going to 10, it's a test of, you know, whatever, gall or bravery. It's a misogynistic, toxic masculinity thing to do. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's a real thing that was posted in a real educational journal. Get the fuck out of here. So again, if you turn around and you're like, why would you body shame her? Or why would you say that and praise her for that and body shame this mother that got pain meds with her kids? That's not right. That's body shaming, and you can't do that. You can't praise someone for something they did. Because what about these people? Guess what? Fuck those people. If they shouldn't care what that lady has to say about them or what any feminist movement has to say about them. You should pay attention to your own shit and how people in your own life protect you and what they think of you. I think you're the toughest motherfucker on this planet, tougher than dudes that step in a cage if you walk into a delivery room and give birth to a child. That's a bad motherfucker right there. You got everything, all that respect for me, whether you get an epidural or not. But it's a call. It's a show of evidence here. That's their game. Now you know what the game is. The rules, there are no rules against you or against your shit, but the same rules don't apply back. And how do they stop that? They don't respond. There are people doing it. Hey, why are you body shaming these other moms who had to get pain meds? I know that there was a big baby, like bigger than normal, but why are you body shaming these moms that chose to get pain meds? This isn't right. Then the big feminist empowerment whatever side goes, we posted it, we like it. Be more like that. Stop arguing. Be more like that. And I never thought in my life that I would say this. When people say things, well, why? How could you believe this? And how could you do that? How could you? Because I like to. That's how I think. Well, you're a misogynistic, egotistical, alcoholic. Okay. Okay. Well, what? What do you mean, okay? That's just like you, to be immature and... Okay. But you're a son of a bitch, and that's why you're going to be just like your dad. Okay. It ends things. You'll see. The arguments that you get in will go in waves. They'll tone down when you go, hey, alright. I get it. No, I get what you're saying. And they go, well, yeah, and then the insult will peak. Well, that's why you're a son of a bitch, motherfucker. Okay. Back down. Well, this is why you're pathetic. You're not even a man. You can't even stand up for yourself. Yeah, you're probably right. Okay. And then it dies off. They usually end up walking away. Well, fuck you, and walk off. Okay. And then go through the rest of your day and don't think about that. That was not your problem that was happening. That was their problem that they were having. You know, they want to have an opinion and have it matter and have it be justified by your reaction. Don't justify their wrong responses. And what is wrong is interpretable, if that's a word, interpretable by each unique person. What's tolerated to me is very different than what's tolerated to another person. Now, what's tolerable to me and what's tolerable to my wife, similar. That's why we work. That's something that is very, very important in relationships. You have to know what you're willing to tolerate. You have to know what you're willing to tolerate and what you are not. For me and my wife, rule number 1, you don't speak nasty to each other. You don't raise your voice, you don't call names, none of that. Don't happen. That rule does not get broken. If that gets broken, we have a real problem. Number 2, family first, always. Every decision we make, family first, always. Other than that, we really don't have any ground rules. It's just, we just kind of work. But that's very, very important. Know what you're willing to tolerate. And it's not even willing to tolerate. Know what you're putting up with and know what you're not. And guys, we are at 42 minutes. I rambled on about annoyances and mindset changes and people getting punched in their face. And that's only one category. UFC, Notre Dame. I'd say we had a good episode. We had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I had a great time. Really come in here and ramble like a psychopath in these 4 walls of my studio and act like there's a therapist sitting on the couch behind the camera. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Let's do this. Let's ride out to a song together, shall we? We got 15 minutes really to spare. I apologize for the ads. If you're hearing ads at the beginning or the ends of my show, I apologize. I signed up for this thing called Dynamo, where they're supposed to put ads on my thing, and then they pay me, but they don't pay me. They just put ads on there. So I was trying to help raise the money for this, lawyer, so I clicked on that, but I haven't made a single dime from it, and I've turned it off, but the ads are still playing. So I do apologize for that. I'm working on some cool stuff. Working on something with Zigzag right now. They made me a Zigzag legend. I don't know what that means. They're going to post me up on the Instagram. Guys, if you're not following the Instagram, please go do that at Cam Williamson Official and at Road to Redemption Podcast on Instagram. If you guys want the clickable link at Cam Williamson Official is the GoFundMe. I would really appreciate anything you guys can do. I've been supposed to be looking for a song this whole time, and I wasn't. What song do we want to listen to? One that's not going to get me pulled off of fucking SoundCloud, because I can't get in trouble again. So we got to be smart, folks. Got to be smart about what we're doing. How's your guys' week? Enough about me. Let's talk about you. How are you doing? Is everything in your life going okay? I hope that it is. I hope that you find the peace and serenity that you need on this Monday morning to make it back into work. And make it back into work without choking the shit out of somebody that really annoys you. Here we go.